we'll get mine done. Cool, because
Yeah.
I got to think through my questions again. I want you to really provide that content for
Right
my
on.
folks.
Right on. All right, man. Well, we're going, Roy. Well, let me ask you then, since what does I mean, MMA, like that's what your podcast is you're gearing that towards your audience right now? You're just trying to have an MMA podcast, or you're trying, because you're getting like real philosophical with your conversations, right?
Yeah, so it's not
Trying to
just
get like the
MMA.
deeper meanings of.
It's a lot, man. So my podcast, Enter the Last Dragon, is a podcast based on two dope legends when it comes to the acting world and martial arts arena, Bruce Lee and Bruce Leroy. And so I'm basically talking about how those two individuals have influenced America, specifically Bruce Lee when it comes to martial arts,
Yeah.
and Bruce Leroy for the black culture. There's been a lot of people, and you get so much excitement around how individuals have started to like go bananas when they start to realize there's some maybe a black person, an African American person, anybody of color that's doing martial arts. You see people just get excited. It's like chills. It's like, wow, not only can I do that, but this guy's been doing it for a while, and look how good he looks. It's just exciting, man. So my podcast just talks about culture and how they've made a culture shift and how their influence has impacted
Yeah.
everyone. You know.
Yeah. What's that guy's name? Is it Michael Ja White?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
beast mode. I met him before,
Oh,
man.
have you?
The dude is big.
Is he? He looks like he's stacked. He
Dude,
looks phenomenal shape.
insane. He's
Real martial artist.
oh my god, he's on another level. Like so, I was coming back from California,
Yeah.
and he was on the flight, and I was like, dude, that's Michael J. White. I'm
Yeah.
talking to my boy. I was like, this gotta be him.
Yeah, I like his movies.
Dude, he is insane,
Yeah.
man. He's a perfect example of someone who
Heavily influenced by Bruce Lee.
all day.
Talks about it all the time.
All day, man. Like it's
Yeah.
just like one of those things. I don't know about you, but first true Bruce Lee movie I saw, even bought, was Chinese Connection.
Oh yeah.
So that was just like, and I don't know if you seen that one?
Dude, so I'm pretty sure I've seen almost every Bruce Lee movie. So whenever I was an overnight security guard, I binge watched every movie I could possibly, like all the Clint Eastwood movies, all the Bruce Lee movies,
Perfect.
just to like get just like caught up on all this stuff. And so I'm pretty sure. And here's the thing, though, you notice a real common theme in the movies. Like they're all pretty similar.
They are similar.
They're all yeah,
And so they have they have this thing where somebody's being oppressed.
yeah,
I love that as a black man, being honest, because we've been oppressed. So a certain degree, it's like he was oppressed by, let's just say, the Japanese. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, this Chinese man is being oppressed by the Japanese. And boom, 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 he fights this oppression. He comes out with the win. Or that's Chinese Connection side, right? So
Uh-huh.
then you got like,
it's always school versus school too.
think about that, man.
Yeah,
Do you recall? All right, so I don't know if you remember these days, but I remember when Mike first opened up his school, he would just have these random guys come in.
yeah,
And they would challenge. And Mike would be like, man, get this. Okay, I'm going to stick one of my little guys. So you think you can come at me? Hey, take care of this lightweight.
yeah.
And we would work the brakes off of them. So this school challenge thing is real. Like,
Yeah,
this
that's
is real
super
life.
common. So Rodrigo was talking about that. Hickson back in the day, and just he always had to be ready anytime. He could be eating breakfast with his family, somebody comes up and challenges him, and it could be after a night of like being out late and just, you know what I mean, just whatever he was doing, and he still had to meet the challenge.
To what? I guess in one hand, it's good being a champion. But what they say, heavy is the head that wears the crown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
It's a
dude.
lot of pressure.
Oh yeah, you gotta be ready for that, dude. Oh my goodness, I could not imagine always needing to be ready.
Do you think? All right, so tell me in your opinion when it comes to just like in general life situations, what is training in martial arts has done for you? Like, what do you think? Like, because I got some things in my mind, but I want to
Yeah.
hear from someone else.
So I'm extremely. It makes me real calm in a lot of situations. I don't really worry about too much. I'm pretty confident that I can handle almost anything that breaks loose. You know what I mean? Because it's a control. You're always putting yourself in like this controlled chaos.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you learn to be calm. And so for me, between jiu-jitsu and fighting, I've always kind of really focused on like staying calm and controlling those emotions. And like I don't so I've never been in like a crazy like I mean I've been in some hectic situations like in fighting and different things, but not like where like I'm out in the store and like fucking craziness breaks
Right,
loose. Like
right,
so
right.
for me, I want to be able to like slow my mind in that moment. You know what I mean? And like be able to process the chaos so that way I can ultimately survive.
That's dope.
So like I use the training and like I those crazy situations to like try to calm my mind because it's like I'm not in the military, so like I'm not out there fucking, doing this this high level training like they're doing.
Right,
So it's like I can only hope I don't like lose my
right,
shit when like if
right,
things really
right.
do go sideways.
It's weird. So so in 2000, this would have been 2002 to about 2004. I used to box. So I won Golden Gloves in Springfield Housing Authority.
Okay.
We won it in St. Louis, and it was a big deal in that time
Is
period
that
when
Springfield, Illinois, or Springfield, Missouri?
Illinois.
Okay, see,
Yeah,
I don't want to assume. I always want to assume Missouri, but then more often than not, it's Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, man, that during that time span, I don't know, but it just felt like certain arts make you feel a certain way. I don't know why, but I felt invincible when I was boxing. Like nobody could throw their hands with me. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Oh yeah, you have to feel that way.
I felt that way. But then, like when it comes
How old
to
were you during that time?
so fresh out of college, I graduated 2002. So that would have been 21 through 23. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I was on a whole nother level. I won the gloves, and it was just like nobody can touch me. And everything you would hear is like, yeah, man, they gonna have to register your hands, blah blah blah. You become a lethal weapon. If you hit somebody the wrong way, you hit them in the temple, they can die. You hear all these little crazy things, right? And then
Yeah.
you wish somebody would challenge you. You know what I mean? Like I've been in the ring, can nobody put their hands on me? So my mindset changed when I really started training in martial arts to another level. So I even started way back with Taekwondo. I pretty much would say karate, then Taekwondo. But I really went to boxing as an adult. So I felt like a man. Like I felt like I can handle this. But when I got to BJJ, it was a calming thing. Like it became like I was doing chess versus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing,
So
man.
did you? So when you started jujitsu, were you calm or were you kind of? I mean, I feel like most, not all, but for the most part, the most common reaction to new people in jujitsu is their spazzes.
So I was spaz mode, and then
Try to beast out of everything with
yeah, yeah.
strength.
So I was literally spaz mode, but then I wanted to I wanted to achieve the highest level as fast as possible. So one thing I found out was like the easiest way to advance was learn how to fight on your back because everyone pretty much can fight standing up, or if they have their top game, it's an easier battle than being on your back. So I literally thought, okay, it's more of a thinking situation now because I may not be stronger than the next person, or I could be stronger than them, but if I know how to fight on my back and I'm just as good on top fighting, I should be able to advance faster than anyone else.
Yeah.
That was my thought
How big
process.
were you at that time?
So I'm 245, and
You're 245 right now?
right now, bro.
Oh man, you look bigger than that. You're like your chest is
I'm
solid.
swat, dude. I pushed weights, man. Real
Yeah, that's
talk, I
what I'm
pushed weights.
saying. That's what
So
I'm saying.
245,
Damn,
and I was
solid.
two. I was
Shots are
220.
huge.
I was 220 because 205 is what we were fighting at. Me and Cronin. Me and
Yeah.
Cronin was coming in hard, man, and it was like, and Cronin was so strong. Played center in football
He's
in
almost
college.
300 pounds right
Dude,
now.
Cronin is on a whole nother level. Hey, shout out to Cronin.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude.
SC MMA, old school.
Hey, dude. Yeah,
Hey.
I would love to sit down with him. He's such a smart guy.
That dude is on a whole nother level. That's my guy, man.
Oh yeah.
Brandon Cronin is like his experiences would not match up to what you assume. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's
Oh,
got
he's
some
a great guy.
experiences.
He was going to help me, or he did help me with my website a little bit back in the day.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he was gonna just set me up with like a whole online store and whatnot,
Yeah.
and we met a few times about it. But dude, he's just so intelligent.
Dude, another level, man. The
Oh
dude
yeah,
he's an engineer. He's just
he's
Cronin,
very
man.
entrepreneurial. I think he's got
Yeah.
into real estate, and I
He's
mean,
Cronin,
he's
man.
got his black belt in jiu-jitsu now.
Right. Hey, listen. When I say his grind is so hard, it was so crazy
He's killing it in
because
powerlifting, I think.
yeah, I want to say that that's been his next motivation. So he went. I know he achieved brown and got his black, and then now he's. I see him online now on his Instagram. He's picking up. I don't know how many 400 pounds plus
Oh,
on
easy.
deadlift, and
Yeah,
he's
man.
squatting
He's
beast mode. He's
oh,
doing it,
he's
man.
moving big weight.
Oh yeah, a
Oh
whole nother
yeah.
level.
Yeah,
Whole
he's
nother.
huge.
I mean, I mean, do you remember that time period? Like we went from you started at the very first school.
Very first school, I started in 2008.
Okay, that's your year.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So putting that in perspective, you're dang, you're 11. So you could have you literally right months after me then. Because no, I was 7. I was 2007. I was a whole year.
Yeah, because the school opened, I think, in 2007,
Yeah, I
and
was
I
7.
started. You know what? I lied. 2009 I
9.
started.
Yeah,
I
because I feel
started
like
2009.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
lied.
I'm
Some
7.
10 years. Yeah, so I started right there at the beginning of 2009 or somewhere in there.
Right. I heard I heard previous past you was wrestling at Lindenwood.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you miss wrestling?
Not necessarily. Sometimes thinking about it in hindsight, I think maybe it would have been a good idea to maybe go to like a different program and maybe wrestle and actually get like my school paid for.
Did you do
'Cause-
4 years or no?
no, I only wrestled my freshman year, only part of it. So I found out that we were gonna have AJ, and then I just started working.
Right.
And so I was working and going to school, and we had AJ. And then, man, I don't know how long. So he was born in July, and I think I had my first fight in like October. So I was just like, man, after just like working for a while, I just got the itch to compete, and I just wanted to. I was like, man, I can, hopefully go pro with this and make some money.
Did you honestly feel like at the time period that you were in, like you knew you was gonna be making it to the UFC? Like, did you know it was gonna happen? Like, what was your mindset?
I
At
mean,
the
I was
time?
confident, yeah, man. I mean, I quickly realized like it was a different level. So, at that time it was really big going through the amateur ranks.
Right.
And we actually had a really solid amateur scene. Like a number of the people on the amateur scene at that time like went pro and have done successful pro. A number went like, into the UFC.
Right.
And so that was like a cool time, but I definitely saw the progression, and I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, like, you perform at the level of which your competition is. So I wonder if, like, how some people go pro,
Right.
a lot quicker. Even now, I think people probably go a lot quicker than they used to.
Yeah.
So it maybe would have been a better idea to maybe go pro a little bit quicker. I don't know, but I know that like over the years, I never really, because I was just thinking about this. I never really gave it. I had a good run there for a second until I got injured, and then like after I got injured, like my whole mentality changed. Like I just didn't really want to be doing it
I feel
anymore.
that. Yeah.
But like even like throughout the years, like there's always like little breaks. Like we were talking about how people talk about training with jujitsu,
Yeah.
and they'll say like, "Oh, well, I've been training for 11 years," and I was talking to Rodrigo about this. But yeah, but how many of those like have you actually been training? Were there breaks in there? Like so,
Exactly.
out of the 11 years, like were there really only like 5 of those active years? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Because
Right.
whatever. So life would always take you away, right?
100%.
So with fighting, I mean, I'd let life take me away for a number of reasons. Like I moved to San Antonio for about a year. I didn't train while I was down there because
Wow.
like I wanted to come back here and go pro and train with St. Charles and MMA.
Mm.
So there was that. Or I would just be working and I would just do family things. So I never really like ever went all in on it throughout the years. Like there'd be like little spurts, right? But there's a number of years where like I would just fight like once a year.
So let me step back on that because this makes me wonder. Like I always wondered, what if Roy Robinson said, "Let's do it. I want to have that fight in the ring." I already knew I could box.
Yeah.
I felt good with. I'm not saying anyone can kick, but I feel good that I would have been around a good training facility that would have taught me everything I needed. And my
Yeah.
jujitsu was solid. So I always wondered, like I always wondered, what was those moments? Was there anything that was like, what scared you? What made you say, you know what, it's now or never? What was that? What went through your mind the first fight? Like, what were you thinking about? Your
My very first
amateur
fight.
fight, all the above.
Yeah, dude. So my first 4 amateur fights, I wasn't even at St. Charles MMA. I was independent, And I was just like studying. Just I was watching as many fights as I could through UFC, and I was like studying it like
Pause.
film.
Pause. Wait, you fought and you was just independent,
Yeah, bro.
not working out with any team?
No, dude. I was just so I had a buddy who had some amateur fights, dude. So we would train together, and he was a wrestler. So I just worked out a lot. I was in really good shape, and
Mind blown.
I just studied a lot of
How'd
fights.
you do?
I went 4-0. Yeah, dude. So, but see, I tell people that all the time, dude. You know, as an amateur, you don't have to be that great to like win and be successful. You just have to be good at one thing, right? Like I was good at wrestling. Like that was my thing. I didn't have any stand up.
That's crazy.
And I had no jujitsu. I mean, I had some submissions though. I mean, but it's
That's awesome.
a lot of that was just athleticism and just like determination, right? I broke my nose like the opening fucking round of my first fight, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Did you ever get hurt in any of your fights?
No MMA, man.
No.
No MMA for Roy. Everything was just BJJ.
But
Straight
boxing,
to-
right? You box.
Oh yeah, but no. Only thing I got. Let me tell you, man. Let me tell you one fight I had that was like an eye opener for me. Um, Craziest situation. I just won the gloves. So imagine this. We came from St. Louis, came down from Springfield, Illinois. Springfield Housing Authority goes to St. Louis. We were fighting. Well, I think we went against people from Hannibal. I remember. I believe the school was 12th and Park from St. Louis was there. We had. It was a bunch of different local boxing schools.
Yeah.
And so I clean up the first dude. The second dude, he gets annoyed and not done. Didn't even have to worry about it, right? So this is 2003. Win the gloves. They got my little coat. They gave us a jacket. These little golden gloves. St. Louis champion. Blah blah blah. I go to, I don't know if we were somewhere in Indiana, some little small town, and the guy. So I'm fighting like heavyweight. I'm a buck 97 at the time, and my coach is like, "Hey, they don't have a light for you, but there's a super for you." Yeah, right.
How big was he?
Oh, he was 240, 248, 248. I never forget it because I worked him the first round. The second round, he's catching up with me.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, literally,
How many rounds was it?
it was only three.
3
And
rounds.
so do the math on this. And to come,
2 minute rounds, right?
no, it was longer than that. Is it three? I don't. And this is years back. This is what 16 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I know most amateur boxing I think are 2 minute rounds, and then
It felt like
it's
longer than that,
3 minute
man.
rounds for pros.
I don't remember. You might be right.
It's
But-
probably 2.
well,
Either way, it feels like an eternity.
it
when
feels
you're
like
in
an
there, bro.
eternity,
Oh, dude,
man. So
long
the
time.
funniest part about it is the dude was having one more fights till he goes pro. Like he was literally. So he was like, my coach was like, "Don't worry about it. He's overweight, and he's just warming back up. Don't worry about it. You won the gloves. You should be able to easily take him, right?" So I'm thinking I'm all good. But, well, he's southpaw. Didn't know. I've never fought a southpaw before.
Yeah.
I had no clue. Man, that dude punched the light out. Like literally. Let's just say the ceiling was yay high.
Yeah.
And we were fighting in the ring was, the ring's up high. There's a little bit of light right here. Second round, I got TKO. He hit me one time like golly because I ran into his power hand.
Oh yeah.
I
Ooh.
didn't keep my left foot outside of his right foot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My coach is like, don't worry about it. Just stay focused. Keep your left foot outside of his right, and you'll be good because you're going to match
Try to
jabs.
circle outside.
Just keep circling. He told me, I was like, man, I got this. I'm going to just, ow. I
Hit
was
you
like,
with that power,
dude.
bro. You gotta be careful, dude. My very first fight was a southpaw. He hit me with that fucking 2 right down the pipe.
Dude.
Snapped my head, broke my nose.
That's crazy. So
Yeah.
you're in the same boat.
Yeah.
But I didn't break my nose. He was beast mode, man.
Yeah. So did you do sports in high school and stuff too?
Oh, yeah. So
you've been
played-
an athlete your whole life.
All my life, man. So like it's crazy. I was always the taller guy in junior high, so it was like playing basketball was the thing. And then by the time I got to high school, I stopped growing pretty much by my sophomore year. So
Yeah.
it was like
So you were bigger than everybody else for
I
a
was
while.
bigger for a while, and then it was like I was super sophomore.
But you're still big. I mean, you're taller than most people. What are you, like 6'2"?
6'2.5". So, but it's like 6'2". You playing guard, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew at that time, I was like, Coach, I think it's about time I transition. I think I need to be working on my dribbling skills. Get down to the bottom of the butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, get
Because
in
you
the
were
paint.
already bigger than everybody
Already
else when you were
bigger,
younger.
so-
Yeah.
It was all bad. So I literally stopped playing. I mean, I played all 4 years of basketball in high school,
Nah, you
but
didn't wrestle. You should wrestle in high school.
but we didn't have it.
Oh, really?
No wrestling. So I literally started playing football. I played 2 years of football and got a scholarship.
Oh, really?
It's
So
crazy,
you're a
right?
super athlete.
Yeah, man. So I literally was like, I never played football a day in my life.
Oh,
And
wow.
I literally was like, I'm going to try it. And I
Wow.
went out there as a tight end and caught every ball I can catch. And then and everybody's got a story, but I laugh at that's why I hate like even testing. Like I never passed my ACT to enough to make it even to NCAA to pass clearinghouse. Like I literally when you hear the goofiness of it, I did worse. I got a 17, 16, 15, but I didn't know how to take a test.
Dude, I think I got like a 20 on that.
I
Like
didn't know how to take
I
a
didn't do
test.
very good at all.
I wonder, like I always wonder, like man, if I know how to take a test, I could probably went to I could probably went to NCAA D2. I
Yeah,
had to
the
go to
stupid ass
NAIA.
standardized
That's what I'm
tests.
saying.
Yeah, man.
I went to NAIA school, little small school, Central Methodist. I couldn't, like I said, I
Central
couldn't do it.
Methodist. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I played wide receiver because I wasn't tight end in high school is puny towards college tight ends. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude,
So I
some
went to
big
wide.
boys.
Yeah. So I went to wide out, try to get my speed up, and it all worked
How
out
much
too.
were you weighing at that time?
So that was probably about a buck 98. That was
Oh,
the most.
yeah.
Yeah, that was about it. Buck
Skinny
98.
little dude.
Yeah, but I was jumping, dude. So I
Was
had some
tall,
hops.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was good.
A lot
So
of power.
corners like this.
What'd you 40?
40 was garbage. 4.6.
4.6?
Yeah.
That's fucking
No,
dude.
it's not blazing. Let me tell you, it's blazers.
4.6.
That's like you track shoes on, man.
At tight end, that's good.
The tight end I was good. That was solid.
That's a solid 4.6.
But I was a
at tight
wide
end.
receiver.
Yeah, you just need to put on some weight, son.
It sounds easy. It sounds easy, man. I never forget it, man. It was like so many great experiences in college, and even just like if I tell anyone if they have something like sports
Yeah.
to take them to get through something in life, they should run with it. I don't care if they just got any inkling of talent, and it could be any sport. Doesn't matter. No sport's better than the other in my mind. It could be tennis. It can be anything. Swimming. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, man.
But it ends at some point. I mean, you can turn it into a career.
You could.
You could.
Or you can always have those great memories,
Or
man.
as
That's
a
what life
coach.
is about memories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everything is like finite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But what about if you just like focus to start a business or something, start making money?
That's where it's at.
Crushing it at a young age.
That's where it's at, man. So that's like, let me tell you, how old were you when somebody told you to get a mentor?
I've never had anybody tell me to get a mentor.
Get a mentor.
Well, I mean, at this stage of the game, yeah.
That's crazy, man. And that's crazy, though. So how many people do you honestly feel like you've been around that you've seen successful? You've seen successful people, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. I didn't see a lot of success growing up, though, man. Like, I grew up in a very poor family. Like,
Where at? Where?
so, dude, like, so I grew up initially on fucking back dirt road near Potosi, Missouri. Like, my grandma, like, lived on a farm. Like, we didn't have a whole lot. And, like, I didn't know. I can actually remember one time being, like, a young kid, and, like, my mom and I, because she had me a month before her 18th birthday.
Oh,
I can remember, like, sleeping in our car. Like, we didn't have a lot.
humble beginnings.
So like she married my stepdad, who I consider like my dad. He raised me, and we moved to Jeff City. But it was, I mean, he worked at Scholastic. He was an IT supervisor.
Oh.
Very just typical middle class. But I mean, they weren't the best of money. It's not, shortly after I left. Like, I mean, they declared like bankruptcy. So it's like we never had a lot of money. So here's the problem. Like we had shit. Like I had like a PS2 or whatever the
Right.
gaming systems were. So like I feel like I was taught consumerism and not like the kind of the right mindset, like a growth mindset or anything like that. So dude, I didn't really see a lot of success. You know what I mean?
So
Like
you didn't see
growing,
the build legacy. You didn't
TV,
see like, right,
TV
right,
and
right.
shit like that, right? But I was
Right.
never really taught those lessons, and it wasn't until like I got older that like I started like seeking those things out. But I've always been super entrepreneurial, dude. Like I remember like the very first thing I ever tried to do, like I was a little kid. I was like, well, how can I like make money? Well, I know people fucking had yard sales, so like I took all my toys and I set them out on a porch, like set out there.
That's
Of
good.
course, I made no money, like.
Right, but you
I-
still.
But yeah, but I like kind of recognized that, and then like growing up, my best friend and I, we used to like hustle the neighborhood, shoveling snow and
Wow.
fucking. I found an old business card that I made back in the day for like a lawn mowing business.
That's
So,
crazy.
dude, so like I've always been like hustling and shit, but it was just kind of innate.
Dude, let me tell you. So like, you were one of the first people I saw on that grind on that business side in the gym.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
saw you with and I said, did Will just come out with a logo in a business? Whoa! And I bought it. I bought the sweatshirt. I still
Yeah.
got it. I still work out in
Yeah,
it.
that first one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got
Yeah.
like the shield. It's
Yeah.
red. It's gray, and it's got the on the arm. You know what I'm
Oh, you
saying?
got the red one?
Yeah, I got
Okay,
the
that's
red
the
joint.
second hoodie I put
That's the
out.
second.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah.
And I sat back and I thought to myself, like, dude, that's major. At least you're already thinking. And somebody's like, okay, somebody may think it's simple, but that merchandise is building your brand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So like, it's because you always think about that. Like, the brand is really the most important thing, right? And like, I mean, you're really trying to build like a community
Yeah.
and send the message and like create a culture.
Right.
And you have to fuel that some way. So right now, like I'm selling apparel, and like that's a way to fuel like the brand. But it's like it's not just an apparel company, right?
It's more.
It's so much more than that. It's
Right.
definitely like a mindset and like a lifestyle, 100%.
Yeah.
And I mean, apparel is like kind of where you start, and then you just expand it from there.
Let's talk about it. Talk about I will. Let's talk about it. Like, 'cause I want to hear some. I had some ideas, man. I wanted to throw your way,
What
and you
were
could
you
just
thinking?
you could chew on it, man.
What were you thinking?
Dude, so check. So you follow Damon Johns?
Hmm?
You follow Damon?
Oh, Damon? Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I fucking love Shark Tank, bro. Oh
Hey,
my god,
hey.
I'm so addicted to that show, man.
Hey, so
oh
my
God, I
man,
love
he
it.
was Shark Tank is on his
He's
own.
here in
other-
St. Louis often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Shark Tank by itself is a whole nother conversation. But Damon by himself, man, just laser focused on this dude. The dude is creative. So initially, I thought about what the current project he's got going on.
What's that?
So he said he's been visiting a lot of radio stations, and he's putting out a motivational CD.
Oh,
And the CD is different from most motivational CDs, and it aligns directly.
like a physical CD, or is he like?
Yeah,
Is like
it's audible.
You showing your age,
yeah,
bro?
Yeah. So he's
he's making a tape.
yeah, right. He's got the VHS and all the above, every little old thing. You know what I'm saying? But the
Nah, I'm
funny
fucking
part
with you.
about it is like it directly aligns with what you're doing. The dude is like, yeah, man, I'm listening to Martin Luther King one day, and the DJ was back behind Martin Luther King on his birthday playing these whatever music behind it. And he was
Yeah.
like, oh, man, I need to come out with a freaking motivational blah, blah, blah. So I thought to myself, like, dude, I don't know about you, but when I hit the gym, I told you I've been working out, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I got my music popping
Do you?
all day. And
Okay.
so, like, the only time it really depends. If I'm walking the treadmill, I do a podcast
Do you?
because I can concentrate. But if I need something that's going to motivate me and pump me up,
Yeah.
imagine the same kind of – I heard your last – I think it's episode 102. Episode 102, you was really pushing out I Will. And you talked
Oh,
about –
me?
Yeah.
I recorded that 4 months ago.
I know. You told me. I listened. I was
Yeah.
peeping game. And you was, but I can hear in your voice that it was like, don't make excuses.
Yeah.
Bottom line, don't make excuses.
I get frustrated with that. I have a hard time. Man, I really want to sit down and so I have like a vision board, and like I put like the top 3 guests in the city that I really wanted to sit down with.
Yeah.
And I put on there this just over a year ago, or right at a year ago probably. I put Andy Frisella, Sean Stevenson, and Ben Newman. So I sat down with Ben Newman.
That's cool.
I'm gonna sit down with Andy this year for sure, and I know I want to ask him about, because I've always asked, like I've thought about like what the fuck would I ask this guy?
Right.
Because honestly, dude, he puts out so much information for free. Like what do you really need to waste your time asking him that he hasn't already probably answered, like business wise and different things? But like I've been doing this 75 hard, and
So I asked you about that.
yeah.
Keep going.
and like it's really about like mental strength with the program, which is like perfect because like that's what I'm all about. And I've noticed like I've gained a lot of mental strength like through just MMA and competition and just
Right.
like difficult challenges and such as this. And like I've noticed like I don't know, like stepping back for half a second, like I started this podcast because I feel like I lack empathy. Like it's hard for me to connect with people or like feel for them. Like, and part of it is I think because like even from the time whenever I wrestled, I had a coach that said like you should always kind of walk around with a chip on your shoulder. So like I really own that.
So you've been coach trained almost to be like that.
Because like you're competing and it's physical competition and it's combative, right? So you kind of have to have that edge about you,
That's true.
right? So I kind of lived in that space for a really long time, and as you're building mental strength, like I don't have that natural like empathetic response. So that was kind of part of the reason why I wanted to do this, so I can sit down and connect with people,
I
which
feel that.
it's been really great. But I've noticed, and I had this thought that like the more you challenge yourself and you kind of increase your mental strength and you become stronger in that way. It's for me. I've had this natural response where I get less empathetic. I don't really feel sympathy. I don't feel sorry for people. You know what I mean? But I get less. You know what I mean?
I think it's
Because I
situational.
know what the human capacity is, and I
So
know what you're really about. So there's a balance there. So I really wanted to like ask him that, like, how do you find that balance, or what is your balance? Because you do it. People are important, and those connections are important, and
true.
feeling for people, it really is important. Like I really do
I feel
believe
like
that.
I feel like it's two parts to this though. I get what you're saying, but I feel like you're blending two parts. So I guess first part, if a customer buys something from you and they're dissatisfied, how do you feel?
If they're dissatisfied, I mean, you just hear what they have to say, right? And
That's the empathetic part about you. You're showing empathy. That's customer
yeah,
service
yeah, it's
skills.
easy.
That's easy, right? So you
Yeah.
have empathy. Now let's take it up another level, right?
Hmm.
The other part about it is this competition style and this mindset that you've evolved to. Because I think about myself, I just took Strength Finders. Check it out if you haven't done this already. But it's like I got it on Audible, and so and they allow you to take a test and you start going through it and you see your top five. They give you enough so you can idea.
Hmm.
And realizing something about me, I'm starting to have more empathy in the fact that at first I was more or less like you, what you're coming at,
Yeah.
because me, I found out I'm an achiever. That's my number one. So achievers basically they say they love starting projects and they love having like set things they've accomplished and they feel good about that. So it's like literally looking at someone saying, "Man, Roy, how did you start?" Or how'd you get your first rental property? How'd you start that business? How'd you do this? In my mind, I'm just like, go do it.
Yeah, you just go do it or go research it yourself. Why are you asking me? Because you a lot of times people, I just go research it and I just tell you what I found.
And that's in your mind, right? But everybody's not wired like that, right? So
Yeah.
so I had to find more empathy, especially for people I cared about and loved.
Yeah.
Now, so let's change it. That's the part where I'm about to ask you. That's where we're about to get to. So, your lady,
Uh huh.
she wants to start something. You know she has all the tools. She's procrastinating. She's lagging. She's sitting there, but she's complaining to you.
Yeah.
Do you show empathy or not?
Yeah, man. Well, it's
See?
just here's the thing. Well, there's a dichotomy, right?
Right.
That's the thing. There's always this huge dichotomy there where you have to like pick I mean, how you communicate with people. Like you can't, especially her. Like I can't be as rough as I might be with like you. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right, right.
So, and that's I think that's like that addresses the whole issue of leadership, right? And like how well do you handle people? Because right now I'm a one man team. We just went to two man on the fucking podcast, and it's like, so I mean that's just like step one, right?
And you will need the empathy. You'll
Yeah,
need those soft skills.
it's super important, right? So
Super
I feel
important.
like it's in the beginning it's not anything I feel like I needed or was important, and but as I've gotten older and like I realize it is, right?
Right,
So
right,
you
right.
striking that balance and like how and I was wondering what his perspective was on that. So that's a question I'll 100% ask because it's something that I've thought through, and 75 Hard has really made me aware of that.
What is that?
So it's a 75-day program, and it's so every day you do 5 tasks. You two 45-minute workouts. One has to be outside. You drink a gallon of water every day. You follow a diet, whatever diet you choose the diet. No cheat meals, no alcohol. You read 10 pages a day of some sort of just development for yourself. And then you take a progress pick every day. If you don't do any of those 5 things in the day, then you fail the day. You start back over at day one, no matter where you are.
Pause. Hey,
Yeah,
that's off the chain.
yeah.
Who made this up?
Andy Frisella. Yeah, dude. So he owns Supplement Superstores and First Form and a number of other businesses.
75 hard.
Yeah, man. And yeah, so I remember he started doing it like at the beginning of the year, and I was just like, man, like I probably tried and failed like 6 times to do this thing.
Seriously.
Yeah, man, because I just really wasn't mentally like into doing it, and then I just got to a point to where like I wasn't feeling my best self, and I wasn't feeling like I'm operating my best, and I was just really off my game because, like, for me, dude, a morning routine is so fucking important.
That's it.
Dude, it's so
Boom,
important.
boom.
And for this, it's really helped me get my morning routine in the morning, like down because like I wake up and like I get my workout in and
Right.
like I'll take a picture and I start on my water, read my 10 pages. So like within like my first like hour and a half of the day, like I
Done.
have most of it done. I just have
Right.
like stay on my diet, which okay, cool. I'll stay on my diet.
No
Keep
alcohol.
drinking water. Yeah, and it's good for me because I'll probably stop drinking almost entirely after this entirely,
That's
like because
good.
I'm just kind of over alcohol. I prefer cannabis or more
Right.
natural things.
Right.
And then yeah, dude, and I just gotta stay on my diet, drink my water, and then get one more workout in. It's like cool, like so
How do
I'm already primed for the fucking day.
how do they? What if you gotta break up your workouts? What if you wanted to do it all together?
Nope, can't do it
Why?
because it's a mental challenge. It's not a physical challenge, and well, he's actually got this question a lot. Like the point is like taking the time out and doing the fucking work. At different points in the day. So like they can both be in the morning. Like I'm sure they can put like an hour break in it, but you can't do like an hour and a half workout and call that 2 45 minutes.
That's what I was wondering.
Nope, can't do that.
So and one has to be outside.
Yep, one has to be outside
So what do you do for
every
your
day.
outside? Is
Um,
that what you do with the? I see you doing a lot with.
Mostly so in the mornings I've been doing. So when we were over the past week at my girlfriend's apartment, and I'd go run up to this little I think this little park in Maryland Heights called Quiet Hollow had this little outdoor workout area. I work out there and then run back. So I usually get about a little over 2 miles in and running, and then I'd still be like doing some push-ups and pull-ups.
Right.
And they had box jumps and different things up there, so I was getting workout there. Or I go running. And sometimes, dude,
Do
like
some
sometimes
jujitsu?
sometimes no, I haven't been because
Oh,
like
okay.
I every morning I wake up and I get my outside workout in first. Like
First. Okay.
so I already know I'm gonna do that, so I don't even have to. There's no thought there. I roll out of bed, like
Right.
I know no matter what. And it's rained a couple times, been like raining pretty hard whenever I go out there a couple
Right.
times, and it's just like there's no decision, so it's automatic. I just do it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude.
I literally
Just
do
create that habit.
my habits. That's a big habit. That's a big thing that you have to do, and that's part of being successful. Successful. I literally wake up every morning and I hit my workout.
Yeah. So
Like
what?
the,
So walk me through your morning routine.
so like I'm up at 5 a.m. and
Use an alarm.
Yep. And I am pushing myself to get up out of the bed, depending on when the babies let me go to sleep. Shout out to my babies, Ryan and Dean. But I literally get up, get all my stuff together with my clothes because I shower after the gym. But I literally hit cardio in the morning, and then I hit the weights.
Okay.
Go to work. I tried to get through.
How long you working out for?
So I'm probably there from like 6:30 to 8.
Okay.
And then I do that's why I was asking, can you put it together? Because I'm like, I'll do this already anyhow. And I
Yeah.
do cardio and then I do weights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I literally take my shower and I'm at work by 8:45.
Nice.
And then
So your gym's like right next to your fucking.
yep. So and it's like grind mode. And then I would love to get to the point of a second workout, but then it's like life gets in the way. That's why
Yeah,
I can't get
man.
my wife to.
Just gotta make the time. That's the point.
She'll look at me crazy right now with 2 little kids saying, "Hey, what do you mean I can't go work out? You worked out in the morning already." She would look at me crazy. I would love to try that.
Yeah.
I would love. I'm gonna go check it
Well, the
out.
workout could be anything, man. I mean, if it's at the house, it could be body weight stuff.
Might have to do something like that.
Some days, dude, like sometimes I'm just worn the fuck out from whether it's like renovating the house
Yeah.
or whatever I'm doing. And like sometimes my second workout, and if it's a crazy busy day, it'll just be me walking for 45 minutes. I'll just go for a walk.
That's
Or
good.
or I've been focusing a lot more on doing like active mobility work.
Yeah.
Which if you're really focusing on intention, like mobility is strength work.
Right.
It's like working in our end ranges. So I've been doing just a ton of mobility. I've been doing a lot of what's called CARs, which is like controlled articulated rotations, where you're just moving all your joints, through their ranges of motion.
Yeah. I realize my range of motion is kind of terrible, especially from lifting weights.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
trying to do this, like barely even.
Yeah, dude.
It's horrible. You
It's
know?
so important. So I've been focusing so much on that because it really does help us like age better. Like how
Yeah.
we like move into advanced age is important. Like I want to like have energy and move well and feel great. So I've just been really focusing like on different training. So taking the 45 minutes even to do that, it's a lot slower. And just as anybody knows, dude, nobody wants to stretch for 45 minutes
At all.
So even just like slowing it down and going through like the mobility movements and doing some stretching, some yoga poses and different things like breath work, like that's a workout in itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a different intensity and it's a different pace. But like from a mental aspect, that's almost just as hard as going and lifting heavy weights. You
You
know
know,
what I mean? If not harder.
you know what else I do that's important for my daily? Do you do affirmations?
Probably like positive affirmations.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm always trying to think positive.
Every day, man. I don't know how much, but I bleed it and it's enough. Or I feel like I've been able to transition and grow from the way I think. Like I literally believe in it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%, man. I'm a big like believer in just like the energy that we put out is like the energy that's returned to you because like man, I just listened to a really good clip on this. Like you radiate this. So everybody's always talking about like the law of attraction, right?
Right.
Like what we attract, but like you only attract what you are
Yeah.
and the energy that you put out. So it's like what like the law of like radiation. Like what are you radiating? You know what I mean? Like what are you putting out into the world?
Right. Right.
So big on energy and just like I constantly auditing like the people around.
I feel that.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel
Like
that. Like
I don't
you
know
try to
wow.
eliminate the ones
I
that's
do,
not.
man. I cut people off.
I feel that.
You can be a very good person, but just not be positive. And it's like, unfortunately, like I've had to like cut people off because of
I
that,
feel that,
dude.
man.
Yeah,
That makes
bro.
sense. Like I'm in that same space. I have certain aspirations that I have for my people.
Yeah,
And if you're not aligned with where I feel like you are trying to help the movement,
yeah.
I
I
done
feel
the
like you
same.
should like, or you're kind of on the path of doing some stuff in the community, dude.
I am already working on it, man. Like
What's up?
I'm a part of this board, man, called 24/1,
Okay,
and
what's that about?
so like it's 24 municipalities in Normandy, in the Normandy school district area, and so like
Really?
yeah, so
Oh,
it's
that's the problem
24.
with St. Louis
It's
in
crazy,
general.
right?
There's too many municipalities in the city as
It's
a whole.
stupid.
Why is it not annexed in all of St. Louis?
It's retarded,
You know
right?
what? The problem is every time they try to do it, they get greedy and they want to get Chesterfield in the mix. And Chesterfield's like, nah, bro, you're not getting us.
It's bad,
Just don't be
man.
greedy. I don't know. I
It's
don't know where you got to
bad.
stop. At least stop it like on the inside of 270.
So like we got all these municipalities
The
in
what?
one community. And so it's called 24/1. And so like on that board, dude, but let me tell you, it's like it's been a lot of work, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunity. Like St. Louis is so segregated. Normandy School District is one of those school districts that's trying to come back and do a lot better. And they've been in struggle mode for so how many years? I don't know how
My
long.
grandma went to Normandy.
Get out of here, for real.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So like I live in that area and I'm trying to do some things to just really bring it back, man. I'm born and raised in Jennings, J Town for life. I gotta say that. Gotta shout out where I'm born and raised. You know, so that's right down the street from Normandy.
Yeah.
But I feel like man, there's opportunity to just build. You know what I'm saying? Like why don't a lot people that live in that community why is it not flourishing or why is it not like prominent businesses with people that look like them or people that
Well, let me
represent the
ask you
community?
this because I've been actually perplexed by this because I actually lived on the north side for a little bit and have like I drive through like the city pretty regularly. And so I mean, personal property taxes play a role
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, well, lower income areas tend to not be as nice,
that's true.
right?
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing: like, even when things start out nice, like they get pretty shitty pretty fast.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is that? Like, do people's like do the people's area where they live, does it look like shit because they're poor and they just have no money to fix it, or are they poor
Dude,
and
it's
that's the reason why it looks like shit? You know what I'm saying?
so if there was a problem statement that could be written out, it would have this whole wall covered up.
You know what I'm
If
saying?
that
Like, are they
if that
fucking up? Do they fuck up
so
the shit just because they have that? Because there's a difference between being broke and being poor, right?
right,
Like, you
right,
can be broke just not have money, but when you're poor, you have like that's a mentality,
right.
and it's like, are those just poor people and they just fuck up shit? They don't take care of it.
It's not even that. It's a lot more to deal with it. So it's like if we were to peel back the onion,
Yeah,
it would start on like let's just say a certain percentage of those individuals who don't care or transient. They're like, I'm here for this brief moment in life. I don't care about this property. I don't care about the people around this property. I'm in and out
yeah.
and this
Is there
area
a
is
higher
terrible.
concentration of those
It's a
though?
lot of people in and out, right? So
Yeah,
that's one component of it.
yeah,
I mean, you really look at it, if you look at Normandy, it is super close to the airport. It's central. So I mean, if I go to St. Charles, if I go downtown, it's right in the middle.
yeah.
So it is the most central, closest place. If it was to be a hub, it should be the Mecca hub. Note to self, UMS was there. So like if you really do the math, it is the key place where you would want to have businesses, you want to have things thriving, just based on opportunity on location, right? Well, opportunity on location also can be a detriment too for the people that saying like, I want a place that I want to get out of fast. It's not. It doesn't warm. It doesn't make it a place that feels like I want to be there. So the people that may be there, guess what? They're going to other places. They may
Yeah.
go shop in other places. They may go to the Loop, Central West End.
A lot
So
of money needs to be invested into the area, especially along 70 there, right? Like they need to
man,
make that nice, like they did 64
they
and
need to make it
55.
pop, man. And so that the board I'm on, we just talking about. We're working on these little issues. We're working on the problem statements. We're working on like, hey, so you got the small people that are in and out. You got the slumlords. I don't live in the community, but I don't take care of the property, and I won't know if the property's even going down the
That's what
crap.
they're doing. Yeah.
So you got people who are not owning property.
Mhm.
You got all these factors that play into. So I just named a couple. Well, guess what? They're probably because the area looks bad. Property values are going down. Bad school district. People don't want to move there.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Well,
those are all
the
playing together. Like
here's
you peel back the onion, you say, "Dang,
Dude,
dang."
there's a lot of
dang,
issues.
dang.
Well, also, if you kind of consider the proximity that it has to fucking Ferguson, and I mean, there's just a lot of like negative media in the area that makes that area look a lot worse than it really is.
And it really is. And we have a beautiful area.
Yeah,
you-
Ferguson's nice, man. I love the brewery there.
If you look, oh my God, we
Oh.
have. If you look at just in general, UMSO has next door Belle Reve, across the street is Belle Noor, and the area I'm in, Pasadena Hills. These are like these same homes anywhere else in St. Louis, $500,000 to $1 million homes, depending on which one you're looking at.
Oh, dude, there's a lot of those neighborhoods tucked away all over.
Tucked away,
Oh,
right?
man.
And it's just like
People
but
don't realize that about St. Louis.
it's crazy, and it's a beautiful community. So you literally step back for a second, and you start saying, okay, what is the next wave? What is the next transition? How do we take a place that, like, technically, what is it? Where's the place in Colorado? Colfax, something. It's a place in Colorado that was like, let's just say the dumps. And then all the weed businesses and all that stuff went there.
Yeah.
Most prominent, gentrified, amazing place in the world.
Well, cannabis will do that, dude.
It's amazing.
Oh, man.
Like, I'm talking about times 10.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? Times 10.
Cannabis is it's the game changer, bro.
It's times 10. People think about that on the business side, man. On the business side.
Dude, we would have such an upswing and just and we will. We're on the path just like economically because you're not spending any more money on like, policing and prosecution and all that nonsense and jailing people, and then you're making all this revenue, dude.
All the revenue.
Dude,
They get the tax.
I just read this book called Smoke Signals, and it talks about like the complete history of the cannabis plant. And man, there have been so many reports from all over the world, dating back to like the late 1800s, talking about the benefits of cannabis, medicinally and all these different things.
Just health-wise in general. Huh?
And the government's known about it forever, and nothing's just ever done. And then there's just propaganda and just BS and lies and just, man, this perpetual just war on people, really.
Right.
Fucking, this is the first time they've used like the military like against civilians, and it's for the purpose of the drug war and cannabis.
That's it. That's
crazy.
That's insane, man. Like, and you do the math. If you have something like that, basically, let's just do history. History, what they do, prohibition, talk about the alcohol wave, and all of a sudden the first set of, I would call them, what do you call the first generation millionaires for them people that actually did it when it was illegal?
Oh yeah, like the prohibitionists and the bootleg distributors. Oh, there's so many of them, dude.
And Jack Daniels, all the people that stuck with it, and all of a sudden now they're billion-dollar companies.
Oh yeah.
So are we on that next wave for the cannabis side? You know what I'm saying?
For sure, there's going to be some of those for sure, but there's a lot of martyrs who took the hard hits, unfortunately.
Already.
Oh man, so I sat down with a guy on the podcast, Jeff Mazansky, and he was sentenced to life without parole, and he spent 20 some odd years in prison, and he finally got out a couple years ago, or 4 years ago maybe now.
That's
on
crazy.
parole. Like they didn't even just like expunge his shit. Like he actually had to go on parole, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And was it something? Is he a big dealer or something?
Well, it
like
was
that,
just
or?
3-strike rule, man, and he just got hit, and it's boom. They threw the book at him.
Hey man, you know what's
Trying to
crazy?
make
I've
it-
never done it. I've never smoked weed a day in my life.
Oh, really? Man, there's
Yeah,
just so
I have
many.
one vice. I drink.
You
know what I'm
drink,
saying?
yeah, because that's what's allowed.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
one. I
that's
have
a
one.
poison, dude. Makes you feel like
I
shit.
know,
It
man.
makes me feel like shit the next morning. I don't
I
like it.
feel
It's
you.
hard on the body. It's hard on the brain. It's proven to like
Liver,
hurt your sleep.
all the
Yeah. Well,
above,
I feel
man.
like the brain detriment is worse than the liver.
You think so?
Absolutely, man, because you pass out, but you don't ever really get restful sleep. And sleep is like the number one important thing to our health, dude.
Man, let me tell you, I'm actually
Especially brain
working on that,
health, how you're
dude.
aging. Dude, sleep, bro.
I'm
Do you
working on
sleep
that,
well?
man. I'm just now. I got a coach throughout my for my job. There's a wellness coach that's been helping me through a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I started
man.
adding in basic stuff like melatonin, but like
But
literally,
even then, you don't want to over rely on
I
melatonin,
don't want
dude.
to rely on it, right? So
Yeah,
I've
dude,
been
because you'll halt your body natural production. Yeah.
exactly. So I have my dilemma has been like, okay, I need to do improve routines, but I'm on my grind right now.
Yeah.
So it's like wake up early, do my work thing, try to do the family dad thing with my little ones, and then still realize I want to do stuff when it comes to real estate investing,
Yeah.
businesses, and it forces me to be in that situation. I remember your guy. Somebody who else is at the gym, who else, but he's basically talking about he does 6 hours and he's on that grind. I can relate. Like I was at like 6 hours. 6 hours is like, man, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I get 6 solid hours, that's rock star.
Yeah.
I need to be at 8 and 9. That's what I want to be at.
Yeah, man, it's so important.
That's
Just
what
get
I want to be at.
6 hours is like 4 sleep cycles. So I mean, that's kind of like good bare minimum. Some people can operate on that. I'm about 7.5. I'm pretty good. I can
What
do
time do you like
6.
lay down though?
Dude, I can usually ideally, dude, I'm in bed by like 9:30
That's
ideally,
good.
but sometimes it's a little bit later, 10:30, especially with working and different things. But dude, just sleep. I don't use an alarm when I wake up. I just naturally get up. I'm usually up by like 5. Sometimes it's 4:30, but like usually
Rewind.
5:30.
Rewind before you started to become an entrepreneur to this degree, because you've always been an entrepreneur, but to this degree right now, when you were working a 9 to 5, were you able to still get done what you were doing now?
Yeah, that's also part of the reason why I have a hard time like relating to people's problems because like I've always operated with a lot. So like back in the day, dude, like when I was working the 9 to 5 grind, so I was like working 9 to 5, and I was still training and fighting as a professional, and still had the kids. So and for a while there, even I was going to school getting my master's degree while fighting, while like I was actually separated at that time.
Right,
So
right, right.
working, doing all that stuff. So it's like I was,
What
I'm used to
something
doing a lot.
something I agree. It's people are able to manage and juggle, but everybody can't doesn't have that capacity. Some people can't multitask as well. What suffered during that time span?
What do you mean what suffered?
Did anything suffer? So
I mean,
like
that was kind of
so
like the balance of my life. Like, I'd wake up and I'd get my first workout in, I'd go for a run. It'd be different if I had the kids. But, like, I wake up, go for a run, hit the 9 to 5, get off, go get the kids, take them to the gym with me. I mean, they've grown up in the gym, get
right,
my
right,
next
right.
workout in,
Yeah.
go home. Now during this time, especially whenever I was like first separated and I first went back to grad school, like I only had my kids on the weekends at that time. And during the week, dude, I didn't watch TV. I didn't watch TV for like probably no fucking around easily 5 to 6 months. I didn't watch any TV. I'd come home, I'd do my homework, knock out my homework, go to bed, boom, repeat.
Dude, so that's what success is. Success is nothing but habits, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
dude.
saying? And you've already identified that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
You
dude,
know what I'm
habits
saying?
is where it's at.
That's it.
Healthy habits, dude. Like it takes a while to create a habit. Like you do have to have some discipline. You need to set some.
21
That's what they say. I
days.
actually just read a book that they said like the average is actually now like 66
Is
days.
that right?
It just varies per person. But it can take,
Yeah.
it varies. Some people quicker, some people longer. But
Right,
that's just
right.
kind of average. But the thing is, man, it's like setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
There's like a great book. I need to fucking. I've only kind of read the cliff notes, and I've listened to a couple podcasts by the author. I have it. I just haven't dove into it. But it's called The Power of Now, and
Oh yeah.
it's essentially like kind of living your life based off what he calls like your chronotype. Kind of, and I can't remember the exact. I think he does like a lion, which is like an early bird. I think he did a wolf, was like a night owl. People like to stay up late. He did a bear, which is like a majority of the population,
Yeah.
where they kind of sleep in a little bit, kind of stay up a little bit later. They get most of their energy kind of midday. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
okay. They're usually pretty good nappers.
Yeah.
And then the other one I think he said was like a dolphin, which is somebody which would essentially have like a sleep disorder or something. Like their brains is kind of wired all the time, where they're always on. And I'm definitely like a lion, like I'm a morning person. I've always
Right.
been that way my whole life. So the key would be to set up your life, like do certain things based off your, your chronotype.
Yeah.
So the idea would be, anytime you're developing a new habit, dude, just like set yourself up for success. Like for me, I like to get most of my shit done in the morning.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? I can win that day, bro.
What are you
Like,
doing to what are you doing to expand your mind as far as like meditation and thinking? Like just like take
oh, dude, just visualization. So it's funny that you're talking about how you fucking work out with music and whatnot.
yeah.
I like to do I do a lot without music. So you know David Goggins?
No, who is
Oh,
that?
so he is like fucking badass dude, man. He's been on Rogan a couple times and he runs like ultra marathons and different things. He was a Navy SEAL, he was a Green Beret.
Mm,
I think he tried out for Delta and didn't get into Delta, but he was just a number of special, operation and like he was just a badass. He is a badass dude,
right, right.
and he has a world record for pull ups,
Damn.
and like
Wow.
he does all of his running, all of his training. He runs marathons, does all this shit, no music, and it's because he talks about like callousing your mind, hardening your mind, and like that's a good time to do it because like music is
Hardening your mind. That's a tough word,
yeah.
man. Hold on.
He talks about like callousing it, like building a callus, just.
Why? So that's nothing but like he's basically like I can get where he's coming from because it's like that's like I don't need the stimulant to be at my peak. That stimulant of the music making me more.
It's a distraction,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's
from
like
the
so.
real enemy, which is yourself, like the inner voice, dude, which is always there, dude. We always have that, dude. Like when we're going fucking hard and you're getting tired, your body, like your mind's telling you to stop, quit, you're about to die. But how many times have you ever like pushed through that wall, bro?
It takes me. It take.
It's
I'm.
hard. You usually
It's
have to
hard,
have
but
somebody else there to push you, right? But sometimes you don't have somebody else there. You need to fucking push yourself.
I agree. So like I literally. But see, I guess with me learning that I'm a achiever, I see how this stuff is normal for me. Like I've had these wonderful experiences in life, man. Like I'll never forget. Our coach would make us even just to play basketball, make us run 7.5. If you're playing varsity, 7.5 miles, and you
Yeah.
have to do it in an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh shit.
And so if you want to try out for the team, not even make the team,
Yeah.
just to
I mean,
try
it's a
out.
10-minute mile.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
like
it's good.
and so like in the mind state, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like thinking back. I've always been confronted with challenges,
Yeah.
and it's always been like
So sports provided that, right?
provided that,
Yeah,
right? You know what
that
I'm
is
saying?
a great thing about sports. 100%, dude.
100%.
Those difficult challenges, we have to have those difficult times, like, and as you get older, dude, like you go through life, like you need to like create those yourself. You have to have the habit of seeking the challenge, bro.
I'm all about that, man. I also feel like it's just so important. Weird enough as it sounds, I feel like the Forrest Gump. Like, how do you make your life like Forrest? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just doing shit.
Just doing
He never
stuff.
overthought anything.
Just
He
do
did.
it,
I love
man.
that movie. It's such a
Dude,
great movie, bro.
isn't it great, man? If you just sit back and wrap your arms around it, like, hey, is that Forrest Gump over there? Let me just wrap my arms around what's actually happening in that movie. It's like times 10. Even if you wanted to say, there's just two individuals that sit next to each other, and they're at a bus stop, and randomly somebody just having normal conversation. Why did he start talking to the first person, second person, third person? I have no clue. But imagine all the stories that he had for them individuals that they thought were completely freaking ridiculous and lies. And he'll break out something like, "You want to see Lieutenant Dan?" And he's like this. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
his life, dude.
that's what I feel like everybody's life should be like. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
just
there's such a huge metaphor in that life, in that
God,
movie, because he just did shit, man.
how
Like,
gangster is that?
I mean, because he wasn't a genius, right? He wasn't a smart. He was actually considered like retarded, right? So,
Right, man. Come on, man.
fucking got in school. He was good at running, so he just ran, just did what he was told. Just, like joined
Got in the military, did what he was told.
Yeah, dude. But he was an All-American, and then like he was like what they give him, like the Medal of Honor? Or
Yeah,
some
man.
shit
Come
for
on, man.
running and
Come
saving
on,
people.
man.
And then like, dude, they fishing boat and. He invested in some fruit company, Apple, right, dude? Now we don't have to worry about money no more. Good, one less thing.
One last thing, dude. He was a ping pong champion.
Ping pong champion.
He's like, hey, Forrest,
Eye on the ball.
eye on the ball, hit it the other side.
And that's all he did. Just
Do.
never took his eye off the ball.
And the basics of that, if you even take that and somebody just say, you know what, I'm going to try to take some habits from Forrest. I guarantee you can improve your life. Even something on basic level is that,
Yeah,
man.
dude, it's funny you say that because, like, so I just had this thought because I just read this book, The One Thing, which is a pretty popular book. And it's essentially just talking about focusing on, like, the one thing which is going to get you to, like, your goal. So that
Right.
way everything else in life is just easier.
Easier,
Everything else
right?
is easier.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what he did. He just focused on the one thing right now. That's all he ever did. It was football, run. All right, cool. All he focused on was running.
That's it.
Right? Whenever it was in the military, like when he was going through boot camp, it's just whatever they told him to do, he just focused on that one thing. Right? Ping pong, never take your eye off the ball. He just focused on that
Boom.
one thing.
Think about
That
how
was
powerful
it. It
that
was
is.
just, you put all your energy into that one thing.
That's it, man.
And you work daily towards
And
that.
so me as an achiever, I love it. I
Yeah.
look at it like, golly, how amazing is that? Like when
It's
people,
the process, bro.
dude, I love it, man. And it's just like, to me, I get so excited, man. I was like, if somebody was just like, okay, Roy, like he said, you don't have to worry about money ever again. I literally would be thinking about the different challenges that I can start like allowing my day to have, and those challenges I can start allowing for my kids to have,
Yeah,
and those
dude.
mistakes that I want them to make. When I say mistakes, I want them to try things,
Yeah.
fall on their face, and be like, "Oh well, it doesn't matter because I can try it again." You
Yeah,
know what I'm
dude.
saying? Like
Yeah.
I want that.
Try again, fail better.
That's what
You
I'm
know
saying.
Just-
Oh my God, man, that's why I love. I literally would like my life like Forrest, man. Forrest is a beast to me,
It's a
dude.
good metaphor, man. It's a good way to live
Dude,
life.
beast mode, man. I'm talking about beast mode. Like we took a little trip to Clearwater, Florida. We just came back off vacation, and I was sitting back like, I need a beach house. Like maybe I'm gonna go ahead.
There
But
you go.
it's in my head now. It's mentally in my head. It's
Put
like
that shit on the vision
it's
board, dude.
bow,
Visualize that every day.
bow.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? Like I'm literally like, yeah, I need the beach house. Like we went to St. Petersburg Beach. Cronin was like, dude, we're thinking about moving. Cronin hits me up on I think it was on IG. He hit me up. He was like, dude, I love it there. We think about moving. Cronin's in freaking LA or
I'd
whatever.
rather live. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Between Florida and Cali, I'm staying in Cali. Like, Florida's an interesting spot. I couldn't call living there. They got some nice spots though.
It's nice, man.
Yeah.
It's nice, man.
Oh,
It's
dude,
super
we were
dope.
just down there. My sister lives in St. Petersburg, and
Oh, so I'm preaching to the choir.
yeah, I was just down in Clearwater area not that long ago.
Dude,
Took
I
the
love
kids down there.
It was amazing, man.
Yeah, man. Got a buddy who's on the podcast. He used to train at St. Charles MMA back in the day.
Okay.
Joel
I probably know. I probably know.
Erlickson. And I actually sat down with him on the podcast. He took us out on the boat and shit. It was really cool, man. We had a great time.
You can't tell me that's not your life.
Dude, if I had to choose, bro, nah, I wouldn't live there.
So you rather take the earthquakes?
Yeah, bro, I would.
The weather is nice in both.
If
The weather
I'm
is
choosing, right?
I
Or even
feel
then, like if I were gonna go there, I haven't been there yet, but I think I would probably like Savannah. Just go up a little bit,
yeah.
a little north there.
I
You're
feel
still
that.
on the coast there,
Yeah,
Savannah, Georgia.
yeah,
I fucks with
feel
Georgia,
that.
dude.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. I feel
That's how we do
that. You know what I'm
jiu-jitsu, bro. You've
saying?
been out of the game too
I've been
long.
out the game so long, man. It's
That's
been a
it right
while.
there.
Dude, hey, it's been a minute, man.
Yeah, man. But I could dig Florida. But here's the thing, man. Fucking, they got boa constrictors and alligators and
Yeah.
big ass bugs.
Don't remind me
Crazy
of that.
ass people.
Everywhere is bugs, man.
Bro.
Florida people. Everywhere, Florida man.
All the crazy news
Florida
is down
man.
in Florida, bro.
Florida man.
Yeah, but nah, man. I'm just not about it. I'm not fucking about it. You know what I'm saying?
It's
I like
easier
Cali.
in LA. It's easier in LA.
There's
it's easier in
there's
Pasadena.
a lot of parts of California to live
I
too,
feel
man.
that.
You got Northern
San
Cali,
Diego.
or
I feel that.
yeah, San Diego. There's a
I
lot of
feel
places,
that.
man.
It's some love. I definitely show LA love.
I like that. I like that West Coast energy. It just kind of fits my vibe a little better.
It's good energy, man. It's good energy. I will say that.
Yeah.
Now, are you feeling that it's gonna be a new shift though? Like, what do you think? Like, when as far as like Midwest and Midwest people, do you feel like people? I don't feel like people are moving to Midwest like that. Like,
I don't know, man. You know, honestly, as I'm getting older, I'm really appreciating Missouri. Like, I'm going to be here for a little bit, at least for another probably 10 years or so until my kids get a little bit older. But for me, dude, you know where it's at? It's fucking Austin. I love
that's what I'm about to say. I feel like people are moving to Texas like crazy.
I'll probably move there, to be honest. I love Austin, Texas, bro.
Austin's rocking right now.
Man, I love it.
I like
It's
Dallas.
home.
I like
Dallas is
Dallas.
cool, too, but Austin is like me. Like, it speaks to me. I
All
love
right.
that place.
All right.
I was there 4 times last year. I've been there this year. I was thinking about going this month, but
Wait, is it possible?
man, squeezing. I got some other trips I really need to get to, but yeah, dude, Austin's where it's at. But I love this place too. Here's the thing, dude. Like, I intend to, like, I want to make a lot of money, so I'll probably have a spot here as well.
All right.
I really want to own a condo in Chicago and Austin. I'll probably have one here or
That
there
would be
in there.
love, man. That
Dude,
would be
just keep it
love.
all central. It's all central timing, so I won't ever fuck up that. But it's like, boom, Chicago in
Straight
the
flights.
summer, Austin in the winter. Hit here whenever I want to.
Southwest, man. Easy flights, you know what I'm saying?
Private, bro.
Oh, hey, I'm not mad. hey, level up.
Man.
Dude, I was going to talk to you about that.
Yeah,
Level up.
we'll do
I
it on your
will, man.
Yeah, we'll do it on your podcast, bro.
All right. All right. All right. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That's
So you
what's
get
up.
ahead of yourself.
I do, man.
There's a natural
I do.
flow, though.
I feel that.
I know.
Feel that.
We're actually about an hour now in, so we'll wrap this one up,
Seriously.
and then we'll come back on
was
for
quick.
yours. But dude, I'll leave it up to you though. I know you're working on a few different things, so
Yeah, so
plug your podcast.
No doubt.
If anybody want to get hold of you, anything like that.
So I am working on a new podcast I just started called Enter the Last Dragon. Check us out. You can find us on YouTube, find us on Instagram. We're just building this community out. My podcast is specifically around martial arts, Bruce Lee and Bruce Leroy, and it's for the culture. So individuals of color who have realized that they have a passion for martial arts and how it has influenced their lives. So like, doesn't even matter if it's even relating to hip hop, oppression, or even just battling something that they feel like that's been challenging them. One thing that martial arts has done is allow people to persevere.
Yeah.
So my podcast is, check us out, www.enterthelastdragon.com. You can pretty much get I'm on every podcast station. So literally, you can go to iTunes, Podbean, anywhere you can think of, I'm there.
Yeah.
So,
Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff.
I haven't made iHeart.
Okay. I'm working to get on Pandora. I still haven't made that one.
Yeah, so I don't
It's
think
a process.
It is a process. So, but I've
Sometimes
been
it
on
take a while to get back to you too.
Yeah,
Cool, man. And I'll put this in the show notes, and
Yep.
and I'll be on this
and
next
personal
episode.
RDR314. Check it out there on Instagram and as well. My personal's on it as well, and I'm definitely a person to follow because I got a lot going on.
Yeah, is Instagram your best one to follow?
So my personal RDR314 and my if you're looking for my personal, that's the one where my community is pretty much built out.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if maybe you did like Twitter or something, or if
I have a Twitter for my personal. I haven't Enter the Last Dragon so baby new. Like I
Uh-huh.
got followers on Facebook, but it's just like I'm at about almost 1,000 or so on Facebook.
Yeah,
But I don't have a community built out yet. It's
I
like
hear you.
I want to be at thousands. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
bro, yeah.
I want to build this network that's so huge. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I have people that really are passionate about what I'm doing with this martial arts thing. Like people just randomly like coming to me quoting lines.
Yeah.
That made me feel good.
Yeah.
Just random, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
man,
saying?
because they know that's what you're about.
Random.
That's dope.
It's dope, man. It makes me feel good. Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I
Oh, yeah,
appreciate it.
dude.
Mad love.
Absolutely.
I hope I ain't screaming in your ear.
No, dude, you're good. All right, man. Well, everybody, until next time.
Till next time.